Are you Johnny Strides?
That's me.
Oh my goodness, no way.
Do you want to be on a live stream?
Sure. Hey guys, what's going on? It's crazy the Science Center's closed, right?
Friday, right? Hopefully not permanent, but yeah.
I hope so. Like, I hope like people keep doing rallies and stuff, and then eventually Doug Ford's gonna be like, fine, we'll reopen it. You know what's crazy? It's closed because, you know, what I really liked about the Science Center is like, I kind of saw it as a kid. It's just kind of like a fun playground to go to. But what I really loved about it is that it was educational at the same time. So the fact that it's closed, it's like, come on, man, right?
Yeah. And there's a look at the not yet opened Science Center station, which is on the Eglinton Crosstown LRT. And that will also be serving as the northern terminus for the Ontario line. And that one won't be open for at least a decade or so. And ironically, it's located right around the corner and named after the now permanently closed Ontario Science Center. And hello there, it is Tuesday, June 25th. The time is 12:09 p.m. and I think it's around 23 degrees Celsius. And the skies are threatening rain. And on Friday, the province dropped an absolute bombshell, announcing the immediate closure of the Ontario Science Centre. So I thought for this one, we'll head over there and see what state the facility is in at the moment. I believe it's all fenced off. This here is Eglinton Avenue, I almost said west, Eglinton Avenue East. And that's the intersection of Eglinton and Don Mills just over there. And the Science Center is just south of that intersection on Don Mills. And quite conveniently, the Don Valley Parkway, a major highway, is just off to the east of here. Which is a rather convenient access point for visitors to the Science Center. But this station was to have opened years ago. And I'll spare you all the details of the Crosstown LRT debacle. But it is being built by Metrolinx along with the Ontario line. And a neighborhood just to the south of here is Flemington Park. I did a walk through there several years ago. Perhaps I'll have to go revisit that neighborhood. And just to the southwest of that is the Thorncliffe Park neighborhood. And this parcel of land just north of Eglinton may be connected to the closure of the Science Center. I'll talk a little bit about that later on. And I'm curious what Metrolinx's plans are, or the city's plans are for this parcel of land. This is a major intersection. I would assume there's some kind of development plan for this field, or at least a park. And you can see they've painted on a bike lane in front of the LRT station, but good luck feeling safe riding on this. The bike lanes aren't yet officially open, as there's no continuous bike lane along Eglinton as of yet. To be completed at a later date. It looks like there's another entrance to the crosstown as part of this complex. But the Science Center is just south of here. And way off in the distance, forming a pretty impressive skyline, is my neighborhood. That is Midtown Toronto, around Yonge and Eglinton. This sidewalk is very much a work in progress. And the only other major attraction around here, I think, would be the Aga Khan Museum, which is just off in that direction. I wonder what Metrolinx's plans are for the names of these stations. Or I guess they're both Science Center Station. Metrolinx isn't exactly a champion of good land use, taking up an entire corner of a major intersection for what's effectively an entrance to an underground streetcar. Why wouldn't this just be an entrance to an underground tunnel that connects over there is beyond me. That's the way every other city does it. Oh, there's a car just reversing down the street. I don't know if I picked that up. But it'll sure be nice if and when the day comes when this thing actually opens. All right, it looks like there's a sidewalk diversion just up ahead. And the Science Center opened back in December of 1969. And as mentioned, it was closed on Friday. And it was a gift to the people of Ontario on the occasion of Canada's centennial. And it was one of the first of its kind and one of the most influential public science centers in the world. I remember going to one in South Korea and thinking it was quite similar. Since opening, it's had over 52 million visitors. And it's won a number of international and museum awards. And it's known for its architectural significance. And it featured several hundred interactive and passive permanent exhibits. I think something in the neighborhood of 500, featuring geology, the science of nature, astronomy, music, technology. There was sports, human anatomy, communication, and a number of other various fields of science. There's a look into a big parking lot that backs onto a ravine that features the Don River, so it's quite a beautiful location naturally. The Don River Recreational Trail runs alongside the park through E.T. Seton Park, or runs alongside the Science Center, just over there. I think there's even a public 9-hole golf course just off in that direction. I wouldn't be surprised to see some media trucks out covering it. I remember coming here on several school trips. It was always a highlight and a place we seem to go annually. I remember there being an earthquake-proof bridge that you could jump on. There was a sports section where it would measure the speed of your fastball. And one of those Van de Graaff spheres you could put your hand on and then your hair would raise. That was always a very popular attraction. But a year ago, the province announced its intentions to close the Science Centre and move it south down to Ontario Place, which is on the waterfront, in a facility that would be much smaller, in fact about half the size. Coincidentally, that's an area where it's obligated to build a massive parking structure. Very large privately owned spa it had grifted away some of the Ontario Place land to. And the newer facility wouldn't have a planetarium or immersive forest or any of the unique features that are unique to this particular science center. And the reason for the closure is the government said there was an engineering report that said the roof was in danger of collapsing. Parking, $12. There's still someone working as a parking attendant, but there is the structure. Oop. The designer of the structure was on record saying shortly before they passed away, this was designed to last 250 years. And the province is blaming the type of concrete construction used. However, I think there's over 300 public institutions built around the same time using that same type of concrete. And it's come out that the repairs needed to keep it open in the interim would only be around $10 million. But hey, let's shutter the whole thing and lay off a bunch of people, no doubt, in the process. There has been an enormous backlash against the closure of the Science Centre. And the Premier of the province made part of his platform that he wouldn't close or wouldn't develop the Greenbelt, and then he announced, sure enough, that the Greenbelt would be developed, and that was met with significant public backlash, and they ended up walking back that decision, and it seems this might be on course for a similar level of outrage. There's a group called I think it's called SaveScienceCenter.com, not Save the Science Center, just SaveScienceCenter.com, where you can go for more information on the closure of this building. I have not been here in a very long time. I did have plans to go there later this year and record a walkthrough. What's interesting, I was on Reddit, and there's a user, Uviol, who made a post that's gained a lot of traction saying, the grift goes like this. The Science Centre opened in 1969. It was designed to last 250 plus years. And 5 years ago, a developer with very close family ties to Doug Ford bought 60 plus acres adjacent to the Science Centre. I believe that was the de Gasperis family. And that is the land where that new building is, if I'm not mistaken, just north of Eglinton. Around that time, or shortly after, Ford announces the last stop on the new Ontario subway line would be where else but the Science Centre. Then this week, Ford closes the Science Centre immediately as it will be repurposed. The engineering said the Science Centre needs maintenance. Not that it needs to be closed. Nothing suspicious there. And as soon as they announced its closure, construction and demolition equipment were already on the site. And Ford, never known to be fast-moving, unveils and executes a plan to turn a world-class Ontario icon into condos on a Friday, then disappears before anyone can answer the phone at Queen's Park. Oh, this is all fenced off, but I'm going to try to take a picture of this. I was hoping we could get a little closer of a look. I'm sure they're used to people walking around here with their cameras quite often recently. I believe up ahead was the world's largest hydraulophone. That's a musical instrument where sound is generated hydraulically. Oh, they've got a cop. Good to know public resources are paying for a police officer to stand on guard. Oh, there's the hydraulophone. And there's an Omnimax theater right behind it, IMAX being a Canadian invention. I believe this houses the last still functioning, or I guess it was still functioning, planetarium in the province. The McLaughlin Planetarium was famously closed quite recently. Oh. It says private property, no trespassing. There's some security guards letting someone out. There was a rally at Wells Hill Park near Bathurst and St. Clair Saturday, and there will probably be more in the future. Again, check savesciencecentre.com. Again, that's the Flemington Park neighborhood. And I think there was a mention by City Councillor Josh Matlaw that the city should take over operation and maintenance of the Science Centre. And I think the employees are still coming in as they need to move a lot of the exhibits and valuables into storage. That might be why there's still people coming and going from the car park. just rather convenient that a government that announced they wanted to downsize and relocate the Science Center to a much less convenient location conveniently has another excuse to move it a year later after that one wasn't very popular with the public. I think people are seeing right through this particular reason. But this is a government spending billions building a highway we don't need, the 413. They sold off the green belt and then walked it back. People seem to vote for them regardless of what they do. They're relatively scandal-proof, so I guess what's another one? I know this channel isn't really political in nature, but I think the public deserves to see that engineering report, and it should be scrutinized. And we should hear the findings of independent third-party structural engineers. And one of the reasons given was the roof might collapse under the weight of snow. Well, we are in June. As you can see, there's an immense amount of development around Eglinton and Don Mills. And a lot of that is spurred on by the Eglinton Crosstown LRT and the future Ontario line. There's a large shopping center that serves Flemington Park. And there's a development notice in front of that building complex there. And there is a middle school just south of here on Don Mills. And this will lead you down to the West Don Trail. Well, I hope we don't lose this important institution at this particular location and see it downsized significantly, but time will tell. Maybe cooler heads will prevail. I imagine the plan is just to turn this parcel of land into a sea of condos. I wouldn't be shocked if a particular family ends up owning a big chunk of that land. Same family that has a parcel of land across the street and benefited greatly from the announcement of building that new highway up north, the 413. I think their land value alone increased by about $8 billion as a result of speculating on that highway getting built. Not unlike what happened with the Greenbelt. But anyways, do check out savesciencecenter.com. And there is a form letter that you can send to your MPP from that site. And let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support what I do on this channel, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button appearing down below if you wish to say thanks that way. There's a 25B bus. You could take that down to Broadview Station. A little bit of a different video, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you in the next one. Yoink.